वफाकी वज़ीर बराए मौसमियाती तब्दीली शेरी रहमान वर्ल्ड इकनॉमिक फोरम से खिताब कर रही हैं।
And I really find the Pathfinder Group's commitment to Pakistan as true patriots against all odds. And I'm sure every year there are odds, and every government gives you challenges. We, in every sense of the word, were the ground zero of climate change calamity in 2022. It was a real eye-opener. It was a record-breaking climate event of the century. And that's where the century comes in. The UN Secretary General visited, made a long journey to the heart of the flood-affected areas, and he was stunned, because that's what the UN does. They go everywhere where crisis erupts. They try to bring the power and salve of multilateralism, especially the humanitarian relief crises that we're facing. So we are very grateful. Antonio Guterres has played a stellar role. He has been a personal advocate for Pakistan, and we cannot thank him enough. So here's the power of the UN manifesting itself for the moral imperative it brought. And the purpose it brought, the clarity of moral purpose that he brought to the project is actually unprecedented to us in Pakistan. In several interactions, and he was instrumental in co-hosting with Pakistan the Geneva conference, which was actually, it exceeded the targets that we had set ourselves, modestly thinking. There's donor fatigue, there's other crises in the world. So I think we did well there. We obviously did well at COP27, but that's a long gestation project of loss and damage that we worked on. Having said that, it took every ounce of stamina and literally 18-hour days that went into nights, went into morning in negotiations. So it was a team effort from Pakistan, it gelled well, and I think we showed real leadership. The Foreign Minister, the Prime Minister, everyone was wholly committed and online. And I think that it gives us a sense of how successes can be achieved in times of extreme adversity and in times of what was a climate emergency. And there's still a climate emergency in Pakistan. I won't mince my words. What's going on is something that I think people have lost sight of outside Pakistan. There are obviously enclaves of huge stability everywhere in the world, but there is a sense of, disasters tend to stay focused as long as the media is there. That is just the nature of the changing world and the beast that we call commercial media. And that's how it's been. The media was also, international media was actually stellar in bringing their resources on the ground. They still visit. But let me give you a quick rundown on why I'm saying record-breaking, because it impacted 33 million people in one go. 33 million is the size of 3 small, medium-sized European countries. And make no mistake, it's not over. 20 million are still affected, which Antonio Guterres very aptly said at Geneva is 3 times the size of his country, Portugal. So 8 million are still living near water. Why? Because resettlement is difficult. Half of the area that was underwater is now not draining out. Sea level has risen. We are again on slow onset climate impact, but we are in a clear arc of vulnerability. I say this because this may happen again. I don't want it to happen again. We are working very hard to ensure that there is better preparedness, there is adaptation on the ground. We have been focusing on, in climate terms, mitigation means you're working on reducing your emissions, really, which is through enhancing your forest cover, which you can never go wrong on, or converting from fossil fuels to renewables. Which we are doing, we can talk about that path. We're doing that anyway because we need to reduce our import energy bills. Those are very high. The return of conflict or war to Europe has actually thrust many countries on this arc of vulnerability into a magnitude of crisis that we really have never seen before. So yes, we are importing wheat. This was a wheat exporting country. We are importing, we've even had to import at some point such a huge LNG and oil component. So you really don't lecture me on the use of fossil fuels for everybody's leapfrogging development. Nobody is anymore because we are, silently not doing what we need to do. And by we, I don't mean Pakistan. Pakistan is hurtling towards, and we have to hurtle towards, the recovery framework we created while we were in this emergency. And that's called the 4 Rs, the Resilient Recovery Reconstruction Framework, because why it's called reconstruction is simply, and that involves rehabilitation, and so that's why it's 4 Rs. I wanted to play a video, my bad that I thought of it this morning and we couldn't get the stuff organized, that showed you the scale and magnitude and ferocity of the crisis. The 2010 flood, again, was nothing compared to this. This combined our glacial melt. We have the largest amount of glaciers outside the polar region. People may not know that. We also have, at the same time, in the same country, a delta region that is often in drought, which is right now inundated by water. So 1/3 of the country was inundated, 1/3. And we had the glacial melt accelerate to 300 degrees this year because of global warming. Now, Pakistan is not causing the global warming at all. We are too small an emitter. Small joys, but too small an emitter. And so if we go totally renewable tomorrow, totally green, that warming will still come to Pakistan. These are the geographies of